Dear students, now the next part of this chapter, that is the molecular base of inheritance, is transcription. And in this topic, we'll be talking about what is transcription unit in this video, and later on we'll be discussing the process of transcription in prokaryotes and in eukaryotes. Now, what is transcription? According to the central dogma, which we did in the previous video, we said central dogma is transfer of the genetic information from DNA to RNA and then to proteins. So this process of copying of the genetic information from one strand of the DNA into RNA is termed as transcription. And as usual, it occurs in G1 and G2 phases of the cell cycle. This process, that is transcription, needs the help of the enzyme RNA polymerase. And this RNA polymerase forms a complementary copy to one of the strands of the DNA, except it will be incorporating ribonucleotides, and where adenine is present on the DNA, that will pair with uracil on the RNA chain instead of thymine. And as DNA replication also occurs in 5' to 3' direction, so does transcription. It occurs in 5' to 3' direction. So in this diagram, what we see is a double helix, one in 5' to 3' direction and the other in 3' to 5' direction. Now we have an RNA chain which is complementary to one of the strands of the DNA. So obviously transcription also occurs in 5' to 3' direction. So the strand that is from 3' to 5', it acts as a template strand, and an RNA chain is formed complementary to this template strand. So this strand is referred to as the template strand. Whereas the other strand, which is in 5' to 3' direction, it is called as the coding strand. And you can easily see the bases present on the coding strand matches with that of the RNA that is formed, except where T is present on the DNA strand. Instead, you will have U on the RNA chain. So basically, what is being translated, which information is being translated into proteins, is the sequence of bases that is present on the coding strand, which will be carried by the mRNA. Therefore, that is why this other strand is referred to as the coding strand. So, since RNA we find is single-stranded and only one strand of the DNA that has the polarity in 3' to 5' direction, as we have seen just now, acts as a template for RNA synthesis, and it's called as the template strand. And the other strand with polarity in 5' to 3' direction is called as the coding strand. But normally both the strands of DNA do not take part in transcription. If they did, what would happen? We would have two different RNAs formed, and obviously they will carry different information and they will form different proteins. And if both strands both strands of the DNA transcribe, you will have two different RNAs, and both the RNAs will be complementary to each other, and hence would form a double-stranded RNA which cannot bind to the ribosomes and cannot carry out the process of translation. So that is why only one strand of the DNA is copied. Now, what is a transcription unit? That segment of the template strand of the DNA that takes part in transcription is called as a transcription unit. And this transcription unit will have three regions. First, promoter in the beginning, a terminator region in the end, and a structural genes in between. So below we have the figure of a double helix. It's a schematic diagram where we are showing the two strands of the DNA, one in 3' to 5' direction and the other in 5' to 3' direction. So this it's a transcription unit. It has three parts. First is a promoter, then in between structural genes, and at the end terminator. So promoter you're going to find will be sequences present on the DNA where the enzyme RNA polymerase binds and starts transcription. And generally we find that the sequences present in the promoter are rich in AT because it's easier to unwind, to break AT bonds than GC. And also you'll find RNA polymerase binds here, starts unwinding, and it's going to start RNA synthesis and make a copy of the RNA where this strand will act as a template strand and form an RNA chain. When RNA polymerase reaches at the end here, there are certain sequences which puts an end to the RNA transcription. So RNA polymerase detaches here and transcription stops. So what we find also, another thing is reference is made towards the coding strand, which is a coding strand in 5' to 3' direction. Since promoter is located towards the 5' end of the transcription unit of the coding strand, we call it as upstream. And the terminator is located towards the 3' end of the coding strand, so it's called as downstream. So sequences located towards the 5' end of the coding strand, we use the term upstream. Sequences located towards the 3' end of the coding strand, that is called as downstream. So what we find in case of the promoter, it is a site where RNA polymerase binds to start transcription. It will be located upstream, that is 5' end of the coding strands of the structural genes. It is AT rich area and that is called as starter box, which is referred to as a Pribnov box in prokaryotes and Hogness box in eukaryotes. Terminator region is a site where termination ends and it's located downstreams. Now in case of a terminator region, you can have either palindromic sequence. What do you mean by palindromic sequence? Will be sequences if you keep the orientation same, that is in 5' to 3' direction in both the strands, the reading will be same. So those are referred to as palindromic sequences. And here the palindromic sequences are generally repeats of GC sequences and or poly A sequences. Poly A means many adenine nucleotides. Poly A, many, A will be adenine nucleotides at the end of this. And also the terminator region will provide a site for attachment of a termination factor which we find only in prokaryotes, that is referred to as the Rho factor. And when this Rho factor attaches to the terminator region, it causes the RNA polymerase to detach from the DNA and stop transcription. Now coming to the region in between, that is the structural genes. What is that? It's the area of the template strand that is involved in the formation of the RNA. And a gene, how will you define a gene? It's a sequence of a DNA that codes for either an RNA or a polypeptide. But Benzer, he gave another term for a gene, that is cistron. That is a segment of the DNA coding for a polypeptide chain is also called as the cistron. Now structural genes can be polycistronic or monocistronic. Now in case of prokaryotes, we say that the structural genes is polycistronic. Poly means many, cistronic, that means there are many genes. That means the single RNA chain that is formed at the end of transcription, it will carry information for the synthesis of more than one polypeptide chain. You have drawn the diagram of a bacterial cell and there you have shown is a polysome. What did you show in a polysome? An RNA chain, and to that single RNA chain there were several ribosomes attached to it, and that formed a polysome. Why there were several ribosomes attached to the single RNA chain? Because it carried information for the synthesis of more than one polypeptide chain. So therefore each ribosome will translate that particular protein and then get detached from the RNA chain. So that is in case of prokaryotes, we say that the structural genes is polycistronic, and all the sequences that are present on the messenger RNA, on the mRNA, they are translated. But in case of eukaryotes, what do you find? The structural genes are monocistronic. Mono means single. So it carries information for the synthesis of one polypeptide chain. But in spite of being monocistronic, the structural genes show what we call as split gene arrangement. Split, that means cut. Why? Because in that structural genes there are some sequences which do not code for that particular polypeptide, and those are called as introns in between the coding sequences, which are called as exons. So obviously if there are certain sequences in the mRNA, messenger RNA, which are non-coding sequences, that means they do not code for that particular polypeptide chain, what is the best thing to do? To remove. So the introns are removed and the exons that are left behind, because the exons are the coding sequences that are left behind, they are spliced, meaning they are joined back to form a functional mRNA, and this process is called as RNA splicing. Besides this, you'll find in case of the eukaryotes, there are regulatory genes which normally do not code for any RNA or proteins, but they regulate gene expression. Now here in this slide we are showing the process of RNA splicing. So this is a primary transcript of a messenger RNA that is formed. Since it is a primary transcript and it's not functional, we call it as heterogeneous nuclear RNA. Short form you write it as hnRNA. So in this primary transcript, what you find that there are certain sequences which you have seen here in blue, which codes for that particular polypeptide, particular protein, referred to as exons. This is another exon, and in between there are non-coding sequences which are called as introns. So there is another type of RNAs which you call as small nuclear. SN stands for small nuclear. They get associated with ribonucleoproteins, so snRNPs, pronounced as SNRPs. They recognize these introns. This complex is going to bind to the two ends of the introns and remove them in the form of a loop and get detached, and the exons that are left behind, they will be joined together to form a functional mRNA. Now this is going to leave the nucleus, go to the ribosomes for protein translation. So you will find that there is differences between the structural genes of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In prokaryotes, the structural genes are polycistronic, where all the sequences are translated. Whereas in eukaryotes, the structural genes are monocistronic, and it also shows what we call as split gene arrangement, where there are certain sequences which don't code for that protein called as introns, and in between the coding sequences called as exons. So they undergo this process, what is called as RNA splicing. So these are the differences between the structural genes of prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So in this video, this is the information prelude to next video I'm going to upload, that is the process of transcription. So you go through this. Any doubts, any queries, kindly text me. God bless you all. Thank you.